Alright, it's time to build another virtual answer key for your geometry test. This is on congruent triangles with a lot of emphasis on the shortcuts in finding congruent triangles. So, first step we're going to look at, we promised you these would be back, here they are. In number 1, with the exterior angle, we can immediately say that y is the exterior angle. It must equal the sum of the two remote interior angles. So y must equal 67, and then y and x form a linear pair. That means x plus y must equal 180, and that's why in the end I can then say x plus 67 equals 180. Solve for x, and I should get x equals 113 degrees there for number 1. Number 2, very similarly, 133 is the exterior angle. It must equal the sum of x and 82. Subtract 82 from both sides, and I should get that x is equal to 51. To get y, I can either look at, well, triangle sum, x plus y plus 82 equals 180, or with this straight line, 133 plus y equals 180, which leaves me that y equals 47. In number 3, this is going to be the trickiest one here. The exterior angle is 10x minus 15. The remote interiors, the ones away from it, are 3x and 90. From here, I'm going to subtract 7x from both sides. I'm going to end up with subtract 3x, and get left with 7x minus 15 equals 90. Add 15 to both sides. 7x will equal 105. Divide by 7, and I should get x is equal to 15. To get y, I need to plug 15 back in. I'm going to plug it back in up here. When I do that, I get 150 minus 15, so 135 degrees. So that means y plus 135 will equal 180, which means y will equal 45 degrees for that one. And then the last one here, y again is going to be a real quick one. Y will equal 180 minus 167. Y equals then 13. And then to find x, I'm going to set 167, the exterior angle, equal to the remote interiors, 4x plus x plus 7. So that means I have now 5x plus 7 equals 167. Subtract 7 from both sides, 160 equals 5x, and then that means that 32 is what x equals. So now you've seen these twice, you know they were coming, no excuse for not being able to do them. Alright, number 5, complete the congruent statement. All we look at is what piece of information we know. So QRS went from 2 to 1 to 3. I need to say the same over here, so this is going to be triangle YXZ, because that goes 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 3. And now going the other way. Find the values of A and B given this pair of triangles. Well, let's start with A. A goes with angle T. T and H are the same, so I need to say H, which is 51, equals 6A minus 3. Solve for A. Adding 3, I get 54 equals 6A, which means A equals 9. And then the second part, when I'm going to look at B, B is part of K, which is congruent to S. I don't know what S is yet, so this is where it's going to get tricky. Well, I knew H and T were both congruent, so this means this is 51. When then I solve, I could find then that S is whatever's left over. So this is 134 between these two. 51 and 83 becomes 134, which means what's left here will be 46 degrees. So that means 46 from S is equal to the 7B minus 10 from angle K. That means 56 equals 7B, and that means that B will equal 8 when I divide both sides, 5, 7. Alright, looking here, number 7. This should be an easy 3 points. Triangle UNI, triangle SCO, what angles are congruent, what sides are congruent. Angles, I can really just go U and I right down, and SCO straight down. U and S, both in the first spot, they're congruent. N and C in the first spot, I and O in the third spot, all of them need to be congruent. Same with the sides. UN, make sure we're using the proper notation with that mark up top, and SC, they're congruent. NI and CO in the second, third spots, they're congruent. UI and SO, to finish it off, they must be congruent as well. Now, to the triangle shortcuts, I'm going to be nice. You don't need to say what, you don't need to say the 3 individual steps, so you probably will need to at least show them on here. You need to say what is congruent. All right, first one, we are able to say these 2 angles are congruent, and those 2, based on angles with parallel lines, alternate interior angles. I can also say these ones in the middle are congruent because of either third angle theorem or vertical angle theorem. Now, we have angle, angle, angle. We do not have any sides. Angle, angle, angle is not a shortcut, so we do not have any triangles congruent for this one right here. Number 9, we have this right angle, which means this one's also a right angle. So now I'm looking, I have angle, angle, side right now. Angle, angle, side is a congruent shortcut, so now we need to say what triangles. I'm going to start here and say NHK. It would be congruent to triangle. If I go NHK, right angle to the marked angle, I would go NLG. Same way. Okay, this one here I can go a couple different routes. I have a shared side in the middle, 55 here, but that means that if I use triangle sum, this is 65. Same way down here, I can find this is 55. I can either say angle, side, angle, if I use the 65 and 55, or I could go angle, angle, side a couple of different ways. So you had a couple options on this one. But in the end, you need to say triangle FHS is congruent to triangle FRS. And the last one over here, we're looking at angle, side, side, or side, side, angle, which is not a shortcut because this is not a right angle. So again, we have none for this one right here. Okay, move forward to the next set of 3. This is the one that we looked at before, that we have some ugly, ugly, ugly looking triangles that are intermixed with each other. So to do this, we can separate the triangles to make it look a little bit better. T, Z, X is what that one looks like. And then if I draw this one this way, this was W, Y, V. So those are our 2 triangles. We can look and see, well, these sides on the bottom must be the same. It's a 2 plus this shared part in the middle. So I'm going to say this is, I'm just going to mark it a little bit differently, make that one good. The long parts here, the diagonals, are 3 plus 1, so I know those are good. And then I still have these angles in the middle that are good. So now looking at it that way, I can say side angle side will work for this, and I can say what triangles are congruent. Triangle TXZ congruent to triangle VYW. Number 13, right triangles, so we have to remember hypotenuse leg. The question is it? Well, you have one congruent side, one congruent angle. The shared side in the middle means yes, it's side, side angle, but with a right angle, that means it's hypotenuse leg. Triangle OWS congruent to triangle NSW. OWS and SW. Number 14. We have a pretty basic one, side, 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 but make sure when you write the statement, you get the pieces in the right order. I'm going to go from 1 along the one side, then along the 2 side. I'm going to go CAE will be congruent to triangle FBD. FBD. A couple different ways you can write them, and your answer key that you have at home should give you another different way to write it as well. Number 15. We should look again, do I have hypotenuse leg with a right triangle? And in this case I do again. There's your hypotenuse. There's the shared side for the leg. So hypotenuse leg is what we have. If I say triangle RAT, that means I'm going to have to go RVT. Triangle RVT. Last set of 4 on this page. We have a lot of parallel lines. This is one that you can go a couple different ideas here. What I'm going to say is that I have this shared side in the middle between. If I have parallel lines, I'm going to call this my transversal. So I'm going to draw, I'll make it here in yellow, this Z that I'll look at. If I do that, I can say those 2 angles are congruent. And then I can also say if I go with this right here, to make those my parallel lines and that my Z, then I'll have this other pair that are congruent to each other. So this one's a bit tricky to look at, but if you take the time and look at those parallel lines, you can easily do it. So I'm going to say angle, side, angle for this one. I guess if you say angle, angle, side, because you could find the third side, or third angle, I mean, for each, that would be fine as well. The triangles that you will want here will be triangle BCA, congruent to, so I went from nothing to the 1 to the 2. I need to go nothing, 1, 2, triangle DAC. 17, this is going to be side, 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 just based on what we have. We have a 4, a 6, and a 2. The 2 is combined with the little shared part between FC. This one we're going to have triangle CAB is congruent to triangle FDE. Just make sure those pieces match up. Okay? Parallel lines again. Look at your Z. So there's one angle, and I have a shared side in the middle. So here's a right triangle that is not hypotenuse leg. This one will be angle, angle, side. And I'm going to have triangle WXY congruent to triangle WXY. Went from right to the mark, so right to the mark. ZYX. Last one, and we're finally done. A shared side. The other side we know is not the hypotenuse. We have side, side with the angle in between. Side, angle, side. So we have triangle HYT congruent to triangle SYT. Pushing forward, okay, use a diagram to say what shortcuts can be used. Okay, these ones are a little bit more difficult because we need to pinpoint exactly what we're doing. So I suggest drawing out these triangles even more than what we have in front of you to try to make sure we're good. For example, the first one, T and D are congruent, GT and KD are congruent, and we have angle N and angle P. So in this case, we have, just looking at it, angle, angle, side. I'm just going to start right over, erase what I have, and start again for the second one. This one I have two sides and an angle, so I'm either going to be side angle side or side side angle. Let's see which one. NT, PD, GT, KB, and we have N and P. It's side side angle, angle angle side, so we're going to have no answer for this one. None. This is side side angle. Number 22, we're going to look. We have a couple things that are the same. I have NT and PD, so here's NT, PD, GT and KD again. This time I'm looking at angle T and angle D. So this time I do have the side in between. This is side angle side. You can prove those ones to be congruent. 23 through 26 all are dealing with right angles. So in this case, the first part tells you PD and DK make a right angle. There you go. GT and NT make a right angle. So now we have to look at the rest of them. First part, N and P are congruent, NT to PD. So I have angle, side, angle for number 23. In 24, I'm going to have a couple segments here that I know. I have GT to KD, so there's GT, there's KD. And the other part I know is, where is it, KD. I said KD, didn't I? Yeah. I hope I did this right. GT to KD, my apologies, people. And then NT to PD. So this one, the angles in between two sides is side, angle, side. 25. When we look at this one, we have another segment we know. Now we're looking at the long segment on the edge is congruent, NG to PK, and then NT to PD. This is where I have side-side angle. It is a right angle though, so this is where I can go hypotenuse leg. And then the last one, we have the same thing with the right angles to start, and then we're given two other sets of angles. So P to N, and G to K. So because of this, all I have are three angles. That's not enough. So angle, 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 we don't have any solution for this one. There is no definite congruence. Okay? Another set where I encourage you to draw out the triangles. So all I'm going to do is look at one triangle, RUA in this case. I'm looking at angle U, and I'm looking at side UA. If I want to do angle, side, angle, the one part that I still need to do is this final angle right here, which would be angle A. And angle A, if they are congruent, A is in the third spot, it would have to be congruent to angle E. Number 28, same thing. Well, I have two sets of sides here. If I want side, 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 I need a third set. So I have WB, that should be WVA, triangle WVA here. If I have WV and side VA, the only side that's left is WA. And same thing for the second part. I have RZ and I have ZQ. That means I need RQ for the second one. So I don't even need to draw a triangle for that one. 29, if I look at FGH, I know FG, I know FH, so that means the angle would have to be angle F, which corresponds with angle S. So angle F congruent to angle S, because corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. Last one, angle side. If I go triangle QRS, where I know segment QR, I know angle R. If I want angle side, well, I would have to use this one right here. I would need to know angle S. Angle S would have to be congruent to, in this case, angle V. S and V being in the same spot. Alright, we're on the home stretch. All we need to say here for these ones is, now with the picture, what do we know? So, what else do we know? Well, first of all, we know already these two right angles in the middle, and we have UN as a shared segment. So, for it to be a hypotenuse leg, I would need to use the hypotenuse part, which is here in red. So for that, I would then say I would need to know FN congruent to SN. Same thing now, looking at this one. To do side angle side, well, I have the one side already. My other side would have to be this side right here. So this would be side UF congruent to side US. Next part, angle side. Well, here's an angle. There's the side. To have the angle not putting the side in the middle, I would have to use the green part. So I would have to do angle F congruent to angle S. And then the last part here, I would need to look at angle side angle. This is where I'll look up top for my angle, because in this case, I would have angle side angle, the side being in the middle. So in this case, angle N is congruent to angle N for each triangle. That's not exactly the best notation, so we would say angle FNU from F to N to U would be congruent to the angle SNU. If you like about this though, I'll be okay with that. Okay? Now we're in the very last part of this, the home stretch. Just explain the difference between some of these shortcuts. So use pictures to help you. This is side, angle, side. The angle is in between. Angle is in between the two sides we know. Versus side angle is where I have the angle not in between. Angle is not in between the two sides. So, make sure you know that the side angle side works. Side angle does not. And it's all about the angle being in between, being where those two sides meet. That's where the angle needs to be. Same thing with angle side angle and angle side. They both work. Here's angle side angle. Here is angle side. Angle side angle side. This is where the side is in between. This one where it's not, and they both work in this case. The relationship between side angle and hypotenuse leg, just that hypotenuse leg is side angle, but with a 90-degree angle, with a right angle. That's all we need to say for this. You can also say HL works, but we know that side angle does not. Last couple. Looking at angle. Why does it not work? Well, we could have the same angles no matter what. I could keep making a bigger and bigger and bigger triangle, and even though they have the same angle measurements, that does not mean that they have the same side length. I can keep making it as big as I want to. So use pictures to help you. Show this diagram that shows it just gets bigger and bigger. Essentially, sides can be any length. If you know similarity, you can talk about similarity, that the triangles are similar, but they aren't the exact same. They're the same size, or same shape, I mean. Same shape, but not the same size. That's what we want to say. Same shape, but not the same size. Last one, why does side angle not work? It helps to draw your picture, kind of explain what we've done in the investigation. So this is a locked side amount right here. This is a locked angle right here. And then we have this other side that is a locked amount but not a locked angle. It could go down and hit right here. Hope I do it at the right spot. It can hit there. Or if you swing it around, it could also hit at a second spot for some triangles as well. So kind of show this idea of swinging, talk about when you swing the piece of paper, swing the linguine around, why it does not work, just as you can get two possible triangles by swinging that leg. Alright, and that should be about it. There's a lot here to digest. Don't forget there is a bonus portion to your answer key, so I would make sure you get that situated, and you should hopefully be in perfect shape for your congruent triangle test.